The breakthrough. Dr. Samantha Chen stood before the massive view screen, her heart pounding with anticipation. The culmination of her life's work was about to unfold before her eyes. Behind her, the mission control room buzzed with nervous energy as dozens of scientists and engineers monitored an array of complex instruments. T-minus 60 seconds, announced the automated voice, echoing through the facility. Samantha took a deep breath, her gaze fixed on the sleek spacecraft displayed on the screen. The Helios, humanity's first faster-than-light vessel, sat poised on the launch pad, ready to make history. Dr. Chen, a voice called from behind her. She turned to see Admiral James Hawthorne, his weathered face etched with both excitement and concern. "Are you absolutely certain about this?" Samantha nodded, her eyes gleaming with determination. "We've run every simulation, Admiral. The math checks out. The Helios will work." The Admiral's expression softened. "I know, Sam. It's just, we're about to cross a line here. There's no going back." "That's the point, isn't it?" Samantha replied with a slight smile. "To go where no one has gone before." As the countdown reached its final seconds, the entire room fell silent. All eyes were on the Helios, a marvel of human engineering that promised to shatter the boundaries of space and time. 3, 2, 1, ignition. The spacecraft's engines roared to life, bathing the launch pad in a brilliant blue glow. The Helios lifted off smoothly, climbing higher and higher into the atmosphere. Samantha held her breath, her fingers unconsciously gripping the edge of her console. Altitude 100 kilometers, 200 kilometers, the flight controller reported, all systems nominal. As the Helios reached the edge of Earth's atmosphere, Samantha's voice rang out clear and strong. "Initiate FTL drive." For a split second, nothing seemed to happen. Then, in a flash of blinding light, the Helios vanished from all sensors. The control room erupted in chaos. Alarms blared as technicians frantically tried to re-establish contact with the ship. Samantha remained calm, her eyes fixed on the main display. "Wait for it," she whispered. Exactly 37 seconds later, another flash lit up the view screen. The Helios reappeared, now in a stable orbit around Mars. A moment of stunned silence fell over the control room, quickly followed by an explosion of cheers and applause. Samantha felt tears welling up in her eyes as the reality of what they had just achieved sank in. Admiral Hawthorne approached her, a look of awe on his face. "My God, Sam, you did it. You actually did it." Samantha nodded, still too overwhelmed to speak. They had done it. Humanity had broken the light-speed barrier. As the celebration continued around her, Samantha's mind raced with the implications of their success. The solar system was now their backyard, and the stars themselves were within reach. But with this monumental achievement came new questions and responsibilities. In the days that followed, news of the Helios' successful flight spread across the globe like wildfire. Humanity stood united in celebration of its incredible leap forward. Nations that had long been at odds found common ground in their shared wonder at the possibilities that now lay before them. Samantha found herself thrust into the spotlight, hailed as the visionary behind humanity's greatest technological achievement. As she stood before the United Nations General Assembly, she spoke of the bright future that awaited them all. "Today, we stand at the threshold of a new era," she declared, her voice carrying to every corner of the packed chamber. "The stars are no longer distant points of light, but destinations waiting to be explored. We have unlocked the gateway to the cosmos, and in doing so, we have redefined what it means to be human." But even as the world rejoiced, a select few began to ask the questions that had been lurking in the back of Samantha's mind. What would they find out there in the vast expanse of space? Were they truly alone in the universe? And if not, were they ready for what they might encounter? These questions would soon be answered in ways that no one could have predicted. 6 months after the Helios' historic flight, a fleet of 5 FTL-capable ships was under construction. The United Earth Space Agency, a newly formed organization representing all nations, was tasked with overseeing humanity's first steps into the galaxy. Samantha, now serving as the chief scientific advisor for the UESA, stood in the observation deck of the orbital shipyard, watching as the final touches were put on the flagship of the fleet. The Prometheus, nearly twice the size of the Helios, was designed for long-range exploration and first contact scenarios. As she gazed at the ship, Samantha felt a mix of pride and apprehension. They were about to embark on a journey that would change the course of human history forever. But at what cost? Her contemplation was interrupted by the arrival of Captain Elena Rodriguez, the young and brilliant officer chosen to command the Prometheus. Dr. Chen, Elena greeted her with a respectful nod. "I didn't expect to find you here." Samantha turned to face the captain, taking in her crisp uniform and determined expression. "Just taking one last look before the big day," she replied. "Are you ready for this, Captain?" Elena's eyes sparkled with excitement. "As ready as I'll ever be. My crew and I have trained for every possible scenario." Samantha raised an eyebrow. "Even the impossible ones?" The captain laughed. "Well, I suppose that's where human ingenuity comes in, isn't it?" As they stood there, looking out at the earth below and the stars beyond, neither of them could have imagined the true nature of the journey that lay ahead. They were about to venture into a galaxy far more complex and dangerous than they had ever dreamed. The day of the launch arrived, and the world once again held its breath. The Prometheus and its 4 sister ships lifted off from Earth, their FTL drives primed for the longest jump ever attempted by human technology. In mission control, Samantha watched the telemetry data stream in, her heart racing as the ships reached the point of no return. With a silent prayer, she gave the command to engage the FTL drives. In an instant, the 5 ships vanished from Earth's sensors, leaving behind a world forever changed. Humanity had taken its first real step into the cosmic ocean, unaware of the ripples they were creating across the galaxy. As the Prometheus and its fleet hurtled through the fabric of space-time, they carried with them the hopes and dreams of an entire species. But they also carried something else, something that would soon attract the attention of forces beyond their comprehension. The age of Earth's isolation was over. For better or worse, humanity had announced its presence to the universe. And the universe, it seemed, had been waiting. First contact. The Prometheus emerged from FTL travel with a brilliant flash of light, its sister ships following close behind. Captain Elena Rodriguez blinked away the disorientation that came with faster-than-light travel, her eyes quickly scanning the bridge displays. "Status report," she commanded, her voice steady despite the adrenaline coursing through her veins. "All systems nominal," Captain, her first officer, Commander Aidan Walsh, responded. "We've arrived at the target coordinates." Elena nodded, turning her attention to the main view screen. Before them lay a sight that took her breath away. A massive gas giant, its swirling storms visible even from this distance, orbited by a collection of moons that glittered like jewels against the backdrop of space. "It's beautiful," she whispered, momentarily forgetting her professional demeanor. The ship's sensors chirped, drawing her attention back to the task at hand. "Captain," called out Lieutenant Zora Patel from the science station, "I'm detecting unusual energy readings from the 3rd moon." Elena frowned. "Unusual how, Lieutenant?" "They're artificial, sir, and incredibly advanced." A hush fell over the bridge as the implications of Zora's words sank in. They had prepared for this possibility, of course, but the reality of it was still shocking. "Confirm that reading," Elena ordered, her mind racing, "and contact the other ships. I want to know if they're seeing the same thing." As the crew bustled with activity, Elena took a deep breath, steadying herself. This was it. First contact. Everything humanity had dreamed of and feared for centuries was about to become reality. "Captain," Aidan's voice cut through her thoughts, "all ships confirm the readings. And there's more. We're picking up a transmission." Elena's eyes widened. On screen. The view screen flickered, and suddenly they were face to face with something utterly alien. The being before them had a vaguely humanoid shape, but its skin shimmered with an iridescent quality that seemed to shift and change. Multiple eyes blinked at them from a face that seemed to be in constant fluid motion. "Greetings, travelers," the alien spoke, its voice a melodious blend of tones that seemed to bypass their ears and resonate directly in their minds. "We are the Luminary. We have been expecting you." Elena fought to keep her composure, falling back on her training. "I am Captain Elena Rodriguez of the Earth ship Prometheus. We come in peace, seeking friendship and knowledge." The Luminary's expression seemed to ripple with what Elena hoped was approval. "Your arrival marks a significant moment, Captain. We have long observed your species from afar, watching your progress with great interest." A mix of awe and unease swept through the bridge crew. They had been watched. For how long? We're honored," Elena managed to say. "We had no idea there were other intelligent species so close to our home system." The Luminary's form shimmered. "Close is a relative term, Captain. We exist in many places at once. But that is a discussion for another time. For now, we extend an invitation. Will you join us on our moon? There is much to discuss." Elena hesitated for a moment, weighing the risks against the potential rewards. This was why they had come, after all. To make contact, to learn. "We would be honored," she replied, hoping she wasn't making a terrible mistake. The next few hours were a whirlwind of activity as Elena selected a small-away team and prepared for the encounter. As they boarded the shuttle that would take them to the moon's surface, she couldn't help but feel a sense of vertigo. They were about to step into a new chapter of human history. The descent to the moon was smooth, almost unnaturally so. As they approached the surface, Elena gasped. What had appeared from orbit to be natural formations were revealed to be massive structures of impossible geometry, shimmering with the same iridescent quality as the Luminary themselves. Their shuttle was guided to a landing pad that seemed to materialize out of thin air. As the doors opened, Elena took a deep breath of what her instruments told her was a perfectly breathable atmosphere. "Remember," she said to her team, "we're representing all of humanity here. Let's make a good first impression." They stepped out onto the surface of the alien moon, their boots touching ground that no human had ever walked before. Before them stood a group of Luminary, their forms even more mesmerizing up close. "Welcome," the lead Luminary said, its voice resonating in their minds. "We have much to share with you, and much to learn from you in return." As they were led into one of the shimmering structures, Elena felt a mix of excitement and trepidation. They were about to gain knowledge beyond their wildest dreams, but at what cost? Inside, the structure seemed to defy the laws of physics, with spaces that were larger on the inside than they appeared from the outside. The walls pulsed with living light, displaying information in ways that made Elena's head spin. "Your species has progressed much faster than we anticipated," one of the Luminaries said as they walked. "The development of your FTL drive was unexpected." Elena frowned. "You've been monitoring our technological progress." The Luminary's form rippled in what she was beginning to recognize as a nod. "We monitor all emerging species in this sector of the galaxy. It is our duty as one of the elder races." Elder races, the term sent a shiver down Elena's spine. Just how old and advanced were the Luminary? They were led into a circular chamber where a holographic display of the Milky Way galaxy floated in the center. With a gesture, one of the Luminari zoomed in on a particular region. "Your solar system lies here," it said, indicating a point of light. "You have taken your first steps into a much larger universe. But with that step comes great responsibility and great danger." Elena felt a sense of foreboding. "Danger? What do you mean?" The Luminary's form darkened slightly. "The galaxy is not always a friendly place, Captain. There are forces at work that you cannot yet comprehend. Your sudden emergence on the galactic stage has attracted attention." The holographic display shifted, showing patterns of energy and movement across the galaxy. Elena struggled to make sense of what she was seeing, but she could tell it wasn't good. "We have long worked to maintain a delicate balance," another Luminary explained. Your arrival threatens to upset that balance. There are those who would see your species enslaved, or worse, eradicated before you can reach your full potential. Elena's blood ran cold. This was not at all what they had expected when they set out on this mission. Are you saying we're in danger? That Earth is in danger. The Luminary's collective form seemed to pulse with concern. Not immediately. But the path you are on leads to conflict. We brought you here to warn you, to give you a choice. A choice? Elena asked, her mind reeling from the implications. Yes, the lead luminary said, its voice grave. You can choose to return to your home, to slow your expansion into the stars. We can help you conceal your presence, give you time to develop and prepare. Or what? Elena pressed. Or you can choose to face what comes, to take your place among the galactic community now, for better or worse. But know this, if you choose this path, you will face challenges beyond anything your species has ever encountered. Elena looked at her team, seeing her own mix of fear and determination reflected in their eyes. This was far more than they had bargained for when they set out on this mission. They had hoped to find new knowledge, new frontiers to explore. Instead, they had found a galaxy fraught with danger and political intrigue beyond their comprehension. As the weight of the decision before them settled on her shoulders, Elena realized that the fate of humanity now rested in her hands. Whatever choice she made here would set the course for Earth's future among the stars. I need time to consider this, she said finally, and I need to consult with my superiors back on Earth. The luminary nodded in understanding. Of course, but be aware, Captain, time is not a luxury you have in abundance. The ripples of your arrival are already spreading across the galaxy. You must choose your path, and soon. As Elena and her team prepared to return to the Prometheus, their minds buzzing with all they had learned, she couldn't shake the feeling that they had stumbled into something far bigger than they could have ever imagined. The stars, it seemed, were not a welcoming frontier, but a cosmic chessboard where humanity was suddenly, and unwittingly, a major player. The journey back to the ship was silent, each member of the away team lost in their own thoughts. As they approached the Prometheus, Elena steeled herself for the difficult conversations ahead. How could she possibly explain this to her crew, let alone to the leaders back on Earth? One thing was certain, the universe had just become a much more complicated place, and humanity's dreams of a star-spanning civilization had taken on a new, more ominous tone. The adventure they had set out on had become a desperate race against time, with the very future of their species hanging in the balance. As the shuttle docked with the Prometheus, Elena took one last look at the alien moon below, its shimmering structures a testament to the wonders and dangers that awaited them among the stars. Whatever came next, she knew that nothing would ever be the same again. The warning. Captain Elena Rodriguez stood before the assembled crew of the Prometheus, her face grim as she prepared to deliver the news that would change everything. The ship's main auditorium was packed, with crew members from all departments hanging on her every word. As you're all aware, Elena began, her voice steady despite the turmoil in her mind, our encounter with the luminary has revealed a galaxy far more complex and dangerous than we ever imagined. What I'm about to share with you may be difficult to hear, but it's crucial that we all understand the situation we now face. She took a deep breath and launched into a detailed account of the luminary's warning. As she spoke, she could see the shock and disbelief spreading across the faces of her crew. When she finished, a heavy silence fell over the room. Commander Aidan Walsh was the first to speak up. Captain, with all due respect, how can we be sure the luminary are telling us the truth? This could be some sort of test, or worse, a manipulation. Elena nodded, acknowledging the valid concern. I've considered that possibility, Commander. But the level of technology we've witnessed, and the detailed information they've provided about galactic politics, suggests they're being genuine. We can't afford to dismiss their warning. Dr. Yuki Tanaka, the ship's chief xenobiologist, raised her hand. Captain, did the luminary provide any specifics about these threats? Are we dealing with hostile alien species, or something else entirely? They were vague on the details, Elena admitted, but they hinted at both biological and technological threats beyond our current understanding. They also mentioned something called the Cosmic Accord, a sort of galactic treaty that we've unknowingly violated by achieving FTL travel. Murmurs of concern rippled through the crowd. Lieutenant Zara Patel spoke up next, her voice tense. "So what are our options, Captain? Do we turn back? Try to hide our existence from the rest of the galaxy?" Elena shook her head. "I don't believe that's a viable long-term solution. The Luminary made it clear that our presence has already been noticed. We need to prepare for the challenges ahead, whatever they may be." As the discussion continued, Elena could sense the mood in the room shifting from shock to determination. These were the best and brightest Earth had to offer, and they weren't about to back down from a challenge, no matter how daunting. "All right, people," Elena said, raising her voice to cut through the chatter. "I know this is a lot to process, but we don't have the luxury of time. I need each department to start working on contingency plans. We need to be ready for anything." As the crew dispersed to their stations, Elena felt a mix of pride and anxiety. They were about to face challenges no human had ever encountered before, and the fate of their entire species might rest on their actions. Over the next few days, the Prometheus buzzed with activity as the crew worked tirelessly to prepare for the unknown threats that lay ahead. Dr. Tanaka and her team pored over the biological data provided by the Luminary, searching for clues about potential alien pathogens or biological weapons they might encounter. Meanwhile, Chief Engineer Marcus Chen and his team worked to enhance the ship's defenses and propulsion systems, pushing the limits of their advanced technology. They knew they might soon face adversaries with capabilities far beyond their own. Elena spent long hours in communication with Earth, relaying the Luminary's warning and discussing strategy with the United Earth government. The news had sent shockwaves through the highest levels of leadership, and Elena could sense the fear and uncertainty in their voices. As she ended another tense video conference, Elena turned to find Commander Walsh waiting for her. "How are they taking it back home?" he'd asked, concern etched on his face. Elena sighed. "About as well as can be expected. There's talk of ramping up military production, accelerating our space programs. Some are even suggesting we should abandon our off-world colonies and consolidate our defenses around Earth." Aiden shook his head. "That would be a mistake. We can't just turtle up and hope the galaxy ignores us." "I agree," Elena said. "But fear makes people do irrational things. We need to provide them with a plan, something to rally behind." As they discussed potential strategies, an alert sounded from the bridge. Elena and Aiden rushed to investigate, finding Lieutenant Patel at her station, her face pale. "Captain," Zara said, her voice trembling slightly, "we're detecting multiple unknown vessels entering the system. They're not Luminary." Elena's heart raced as she took in the sensor readings. A fleet of ships, far more advanced than anything humanity had ever encountered, was rapidly approaching their position. "Battle stations," Elena ordered, her training kicking in. "Shields up, weapons hot, and get me a channel to those ships." As the Prometheus and its sister ships formed a defensive formation, Elena steeled herself for what was to come. This, she realized, was the moment that would define humanity's place in the galaxy. The main view screen flickered to life, revealing a being unlike anything they had ever seen. It appeared to be composed of pure energy, its form shifting and pulsing with barely contained power. "Humans," the being spoke, its voice resonating through the ship's systems. "You stand accused of violating the Cosmic Accord. Prepare to be judged." Elena stood tall, facing the alien entity with all the courage she could muster. "We were unaware of any such accord," she replied firmly. "We are a young species, new to the galactic stage. We come in peace and seek understanding." The energy being seemed to pulse with what might have been amusement. "Ignorance is no excuse, young one. Your species has advanced too quickly, upsetting the balance we have long maintained. You must be contained." As the alien ships began to move into attack positions, Elena's mind raced. They were outgunned and outmatched, but she refused to give up without a fight. "We will not go quietly," she declared, her voice ringing with determination. "Humanity has faced extinction before, and we've always found a way to survive. We may be young, but we are not weak." Suddenly, another voice joined the conversation. "Hold, arbiters of the accord." The melodious tones of the luminary resonated. A shimmering ship materialized between the human fleet and the energy beings. "The humans speak the truth," the luminary continued. "They are young and unaware of our ways, but they have potential. We vouch for them and invoke the right of mentorship." The energy being seemed to hesitate, its form flickering. "You would take responsibility for these children. Accept the consequences if they prove unworthy." "We would," the luminary replied without hesitation. For a tense moment, silence reigned across the vastness of space. Then, slowly, the energy being's form began to recede. "Very well," it said, its voice fading. "But know this, humans, you are now part of a larger universe, with rules and consequences beyond your comprehension. Tread carefully." As the alien fleet disappeared as quickly as it had arrived, Elena let out a breath she hadn't realized she'd been holding. They had narrowly avoided disaster, but she knew this was only the beginning. The luminary ship approached, and the familiar form of their alien guide appeared on the view screen. "Captain Rodriguez," it said, its tone grave. "It seems our warning came none too soon. Are you prepared to learn what it truly means to be a part of the galactic community?" Elena looked around at her crew, seeing the mix of fear and determination on their faces. They had come seeking knowledge and adventure, and had found themselves thrust into a cosmic drama beyond their wildest imaginations. "We are," Elena replied, her voice steady. "Whatever challenges lie ahead, humanity will face them. We've taken our first steps into a larger universe, and there's no turning back now." As the Prometheus prepared to follow the luminary ship to a secure location, Elena couldn't shake the feeling that this was just the beginning of a long and perilous journey. Humanity had dreamed of the stars for centuries, but the reality of galactic politics and ancient cosmic laws was far more complex than they had ever imagined. The adventure that lay ahead would test them in ways they couldn't yet comprehend, but Elena was determined to see it through. The future of humanity now rested on their ability to adapt, to learn, and to prove themselves worthy of their place among the stars. As they engaged their engines and set course for the unknown, Elena silently vowed to do whatever it took to ensure humanity's survival and prosperity in this vast, dangerous, and wondrous universe they now found themselves a part of. The decision. The Prometheus and its sister ships followed the luminary vessel to a hidden star system, nestled within a dense nebula that shielded it from prying eyes. As they dropped out of FTL, Elena and her crew gasped at the sight before them. A massive space station, unlike anything they had ever seen, hung in orbit around a blue-green world that seemed to pulse with life. "Welcome," the luminary's voice resonated through their minds, "to Haven, the gathering place of the Galactic Council." As the human ships docked with the station, Elena couldn't shake the feeling that they were stepping into a pivotal moment in their species' history. The crew disembarked, led by their luminary guide through corridors that seemed to bend reality itself. They entered a vast chamber where representatives from dozens of alien species were gathered. Some were vaguely humanoid, while others defied description. Elena felt a mix of awe and trepidation as all eyes turned to the human delegation. An elder luminary, its form shimmering with wisdom and power, addressed the assembly. "Esteemed members of the Galactic Council, we stand at a crossroads. The species known as humans have achieved faster-than-light travel, crossing the threshold that marks entry into our greater community. However, their arrival was unexpected." Murmurs rippled through the gathered aliens. Elena could sense suspicion, curiosity, and even fear in their reactions. The elder luminary continued, "As per the cosmic accord, we must decide how to proceed. Do we welcome humanity, guide them, and help them find their place among us? Or do we deem them too great a risk and take alternative measures? Elena's blood ran cold at the implication. She stepped forward, her voice steady despite her racing heart. Honored members of the Council, I am Captain Elena Rodriguez of Earth. We come before you not as conquerors or disruptors, but as seekers of knowledge and friendship. She paused, looking around the chamber. We understand that our sudden arrival has caused concern, but I ask you to look beyond your fear and see the potential that humanity brings. We are a young species, yes, but we are also adaptable, innovative, and driven by an unquenchable curiosity about the universe and our place in it. A reptilian being with iridescent scales spoke up, its voice a low hiss. Pretty words, human. But how can we trust a species that has spent much of its history in conflict with itself? Your wars, your environmental destruction, these do not speak well of your ability to coexist peacefully in our galactic community. Elena nodded, acknowledging the point. It's true that our history is marked by conflict, but it is also a history of overcoming great challenges, of learning from our mistakes, and of striving to be better. In recent years, we have united as never before, reaching for the stars with a common purpose. A being that seemed to be composed of pure light pulsed softly as it spoke. The human speaks with conviction, but conviction alone is not enough. What do you offer our community, humans? Why should we risk the balance we have maintained for eons? Elena took a deep breath, knowing her next words could determine the fate of her entire species. We offer a fresh perspective, untainted by millennia of galactic politics. We offer our creativity, our ability to think outside established norms and find innovative solutions to age-old problems. And we offer our determination, the same drive that took us from our first tentative steps beyond our atmosphere to faster-than-light travel in less than a century. The chamber fell silent as the council members considered her words. Then, a small, gnome-like being with large, luminous eyes stepped forward. I have studied the histories of many species, it said, its voice surprisingly deep. The human's rate of technological advancement is indeed remarkable. But with such rapid progress comes great risk. How can we be sure they won't upset the delicate balance of power in our galaxy? Before Elena could respond, the elder luminary interjected. That is why we have invoked the right of mentorship. We propose to guide the humans, to teach them our ways and help them find their place among us. This declaration sparked intense debate among the council members. Some argued for caution, others for isolation, and a few even suggested more drastic measures to neutralize the potential threat humanity posed. As the arguments raged, Elena felt a tap on her shoulder. She turned to see Dr. Yuki Tanaka, a determined look in her eyes. Captain, Yuki whispered, I think I have an idea. Elena nodded, giving her permission to speak. Dr. Tanaka stepped forward, her voice clear and confident. Esteemed council, if I may. I am Dr. Yuki Tanaka, xenobiologist of the Prometheus. In my studies of the data provided by the luminary, I've noticed something intriguing. The chamber quieted as Yuki continued. Many of the species represented here have reached evolutionary plateaus. Your technological advancement has, in many cases, outpaced your biological evolution. Humanity, in its youth, may offer a unique opportunity for symbiosis. She gestured to the assembled aliens. We humans are adaptable, our biology still rapidly evolving. With your guidance and technology, and our genetic plasticity, we could potentially bridge gaps between species, find new solutions to biological limitations, and push the boundaries of what's possible for all of us. Her words sparked a new round of discussion, this time with a noticeably more positive tone. Elena felt a surge of pride in her crew's quick thinking and adaptability. After what seemed like hours of debate, the elder luminary raised a shimmering appendage for silence. We have heard the arguments, weighed the risks and potential benefits. Now we must decide. All those in favor of accepting humanity under the right of mentorship, make your will known. Elena held her breath as a soft glow emanated from the majority of the council members. The elder luminary's form pulsed with what seemed to be satisfaction. "It is decided," the elder announced. "Humanity will be granted probationary status in the galactic community under the mentorship of the luminary. Captain Rodriguez, your species stands at the threshold of a new era. The path ahead will not be easy, but you will not walk it alone." Relief washed over Elena, but it was quickly tempered by the weight of responsibility now resting on her shoulders. She stepped forward once more, addressing the council. "We are deeply grateful for this opportunity," she said, her voice filled with emotion. "We understand the trust you're placing in us, and we vow not to squander it. Humanity will strive to be worthy of our place among you." As the council session concluded, Elena and her crew were led to private quarters to rest and process all that had transpired. But there was little time for relaxation. They knew that back on Earth, leaders would be anxiously awaiting news of their fate. In her temporary office on the station, Elena prepared to send the most important message of her life. She would have to explain to Earth's governments not only the existence of the Galactic Council, but also the conditions of their acceptance into this vast, complex community of civilizations. As she composed her message, Elena couldn't help but reflect on the magnitude of what had just occurred. Humanity had been granted a chance, perhaps their only chance, to secure their place among the stars. But with that chance came enormous responsibilities and challenges they were only beginning to comprehend. The decision had been made. Now, the real work would begin. Humanity would have to prove itself worthy of the trust placed in them, navigate the treacherous waters of galactic politics, and find a way to contribute meaningfully to a community of beings far more advanced than themselves. As Elena sent her message hurtling across the vast distances of space towards Earth, she silently vowed to do everything in her power to ensure that humanity rose to the occasion. The greatest adventure in human history was just beginning, and the stakes could not be higher. The resistance. As news of the Galactic Council's decision spread across Earth, reactions were mixed. Many celebrated humanity's acceptance into the wider galactic community, seeing it as an unprecedented opportunity for growth and advancement. Others, however, viewed the terms of their probationary status with suspicion and resentment. In the months that followed, Earth underwent rapid changes. Luminary mentors arrived, bringing with them advanced technologies and knowledge that accelerated human progress in ways that would have seemed impossible just a year earlier. But not everyone was comfortable with the pace of change or the increasing influence of alien entities in human affairs. Dr. Marcus Chen, once the chief engineer of the Prometheus, now found himself at the center of a growing resistance movement. He stood before a clandestine gathering in an underground bunker, addressing a diverse group of scientists, military personnel, and civilians who shared his concerns. "Friends," Marcus began, his voice low but intense, "we've gathered here today because we recognize the threat that this so-called mentorship poses to human autonomy. Yes, the Luminari have brought us incredible advancements, but at what cost?" Murmurs of agreement rippled through the crowd. Marcus continued, "We're being shaped into something that serves their galactic agenda, not our own. Our unique human qualities, our creativity, our unpredictability, our drive to challenge the status quo, these are being slowly eroded in the name of galactic harmony." A former military officer spoke up, her voice tight with anger. "They're neutering us, plain and simple. All this talk of peace and cooperation, it's just a way to keep us docile while they strip away everything that makes us human." Marcus nodded grimly. "Exactly. And that's why we're here. We need to take action before it's too late. We need to remind humanity of its potential, of its right to forge its own path among the stars." Over the next few hours, the group formulated plans. They would work to counteract luminary influence, preserve and advance human technology independently, and if necessary, prepare for more direct resistance. As the meeting concluded, Marcus felt a mix of determination and dread. He knew they were embarking on a dangerous path, one that could have consequences not just for themselves, but for all of humanity. Meanwhile, aboard the Haven space station, Captain Elena Rodriguez was deep in discussions with the Luminary and other alien mentors. Despite her initial optimism, she found herself increasingly troubled by the direction things were taking. "I understand the need for caution," Elena argued, "but some of these restrictions seem excessive. Limiting our deep space exploration, controlling our technological development, it feels like we're being held back rather than guided forward." The elder Luminary's form shimmered with what Elena had come to recognize as concern. "Captain Rodriguez, you must understand the delicate balance we're trying to maintain. Your species' rapid advancement has already sent shockwaves through the galactic community. We must proceed carefully to avoid complications." Elena frowned, a nagging suspicion growing in her mind. "What aren't you telling us? What are you really afraid of?" Before the Luminary could respond, an urgent message came through from Earth. Elena's face paled as she read it. "There's been an attack," she said, her voice tight. "A group of humans has destroyed a Luminary research facility. There are casualties." The news sent shockwaves through the station. The other alien mentors buzzed with alarm, some calling for immediate sanctions against Earth. Elena found herself in the difficult position of trying to defend her species while grappling with her own shock and disappointment. As tensions escalated, Elena realized that the situation was rapidly spiraling out of control. She needed to return to Earth to try and bridge the growing divide between those embracing the new galactic order and those resisting it. Back on Earth, Marcus and his resistance group were dealing with the fallout of the attack. While they hadn't planned or endorsed such violent action, they knew they would be implicated. "This changes everything," Marcus told his core team. "We need to go public, make our case to the people before we're painted as terrorists." They began a coordinated information campaign, using every channel available to spread their message. Humanity needed to chart its own course, free from alien influence, even if that meant facing the dangers of the galaxy alone. As protests and counter-protests erupted in cities around the world, Elena's ship entered Earth's atmosphere. She knew she was returning to a planet on the brink of chaos, torn between fear of the unknown and fear of losing its identity. In a secure facility, world leaders gathered for an emergency session. Elena found herself face-to-face with Marcus, her former colleague now branded as the leader of a dangerous resistance movement. "Marcus," Elena said, her voice a mix of disappointment and pleading. "Why are you doing this? Can't you see the opportunities we've been given?" Marcus met her gaze steadily. "Elena, open your eyes. We're being reshaped to fit their mold. Everything that makes us unique, that drives us to explore and innovate, it's being stripped away. Is that the price of admission to their galactic club?" As they argued, news came in of more attacks, of Luminary mentors fleeing Earth, of military units declaring support for the resistance. The situation was escalating faster than anyone could control. Suddenly, the facility's alarms blared. On the main screen, a massive alien fleet appeared in orbit around Earth, not Luminary, but the same energy beings they had encountered before. A booming voice echoed through every communication device on the planet. "Humans, you have violated the terms of your probation. Your internal strife threatens the stability of this sector. Prepare for judgment." Elena and Marcus looked at each other, years of friendship and shared experiences passing between them in an instant. Despite their differences, they both recognized the gravity of the situation. "We need to stand together," Elena said urgently. "Whatever our disagreements, we can't let them tear us apart in the face of this threat." Marcus nodded grimly. "Agreed, but on our terms, not theirs. It's time to show the galaxy what humanity is really capable of." As the alien fleet began its approach, humanity faced its greatest challenge yet. The choices they would make in the coming hours would determine not just their place in the galaxy, but their very survival as a species. The resistance that had threatened to tear them apart now needed to become the force that would unite them. In the crucible of this cosmic judgment, humanity would either forge a new destiny for itself or face extinction. Elena, Marcus, and the leaders of Earth now had to find a way to present a united front to the galaxy, to prove that humanity's diversity and even its internal conflicts were strengths, not weaknesses. The final test had begun, and the stakes could not be higher. The revelation. As the alien fleet loomed over Earth, humanity stood at the precipice of its greatest challenge. The world's leaders, along with Elena and Marcus, gathered in a fortified command center, desperately trying to formulate a response to the impending judgment. "We need to show them we're united," Elena argued, her voice filled with urgency. "If we appear divided, they'll see it as justification for their intervention." Marcus nodded, a newfound respect for his former colleague evident in his eyes. "Agreed, but we also need to demonstrate that our diversity, our ability to question and challenge, is our strength. It's what makes us human." As they debated strategy, a young scientist named Dr. Aisha Patel burst into the room, her eyes wide with excitement. "Captain Rodriguez, Mr. Chen, I think I found something." All eyes turned to Aisha as she quickly explained her discovery. In studying the data from both the luminary and the energy beings, she had uncovered a pattern, a fundamental frequency that seemed to underlie all advanced civilizations in the galaxy. "It's like a cosmic harmony," Aisha explained breathlessly. "Each species contributes its own unique note to this galactic symphony. But here's the thing. Humanity's note is unlike anything they've ever encountered before." The implications were staggering. Humanity wasn't just another emerging species. They were potentially the key to unlocking a new level of cosmic understanding. As the energy beings began their final approach, Elena made a bold decision. "We need to broadcast this frequency, amplified by our own unique human note. It's our only chance to show them our true value." With time running out, the world's scientists and engineers worked feverishly to construct a device capable of broadcasting on a cosmic scale. As the final preparations were made, Elena and Marcus stood side by side, ready to face humanity's judgment together. The massive alien ships entered Earth's atmosphere, their presence causing worldwide tremors. Just as it seemed all hope was lost, the broadcast began. A sound unlike anything ever heard before emanated from every corner of the globe. It was a harmony of human diversity, a blend of every culture, every ideology, every conflicting viewpoint that made humanity unique. And underlying it all was that newfound cosmic frequency, amplified and transformed by the human touch. The effect was immediate and astonishing. The energy beings halted their advance, their forms flickering with what seemed to be confusion and then recognition. A voice boomed across the planet. "Impossible. After all this time." Suddenly, the energy beings began to change, their forms coalescing into something more tangible. Before the astonished eyes of humanity, they revealed their true nature. They were the original creators of the cosmic accord, ancient beings who had long ago ascended beyond physical form. "We have waited eons," they explained, their voices filled with a mixture of awe and excitement, searching for the one species that could bridge the gap between the physical and the transcendent. "You humans, with your chaotic minds and your ability to harmonize conflicting ideas, are the key we have been seeking." The revelation sent shockwaves through the galaxy. The Luminary and other alien races watched in amazement as humanity, the species they had sought to contain and control, was revealed to be the missing piece in the cosmic puzzle. Elena and Marcus and the rest of humanity began to understand the true nature of their role in the universe. They were not meant to be merely another member of the galactic community, but rather the catalysts for the next stage of cosmic evolution. In the days that followed, a new era dawned. The restrictions placed on humanity were lifted, and instead, they were invited to lead a new initiative, one that would use their unique abilities to help all species in the galaxy reach new heights of understanding and existence. The resistance movement, once seen as a threat, was now recognized as a crucial part of humanity's strength. The ability to question, to challenge, and to forge new paths was exactly what the galaxy needed. As Elena prepared to lead the first truly collaborative mission between humans and the various alien races, she reflected on the incredible journey that had brought them to this point. We set out to explore the stars, she mused, standing beside Marcus on the bridge of a new advanced ship. But in the end, we discovered something far greater, our own potential. Marcus nodded, a smile playing on his lips. And this is just the beginning. Who knows what we'll discover out there, now that we're free to be truly human. As the ship prepared to embark on its mission, carrying representatives from dozens of species, Elena gave the order to engage. The vessel streaked into the cosmos, carrying with it the hopes and dreams of not just humanity, but of all sentient beings in the galaxy. The human adventure among the stars had taken an unexpected turn, but it promised to be more extraordinary than anyone could have ever imagined. Humanity had found its place in the universe, not by conforming to existing structures, but by being true to its own nature, diverse, questioning, innovative, and ever-evolving. As they ventured into the unknown, Elena, Marcus, and the rest of humanity knew that whatever challenges lay ahead, they would face them as they always had, together with creativity, determination, and an unquenchable curiosity about the mysteries of the cosmos. The stars beckoned, and humanity, in all its beautiful complexity, answered the call. The greatest chapter in their history was just beginning, and the entire universe waited with bated breath to see what these remarkable beings would do next.